Hey everybody, Mom H with Honey Hollow Homestead. It's been a while, and I'm sorry, but it's been a rough few weeks. Yeah, somehow, I don't know what I did, but whatever it was I did, I hope I don't do it again. Uh, I messed up my back. I messed up my back bad. And I mean, for a while there, I could barely stand, I could barely walk. I managed to take care of the livestock. That is, giving the ones that needed hay in the morning their hay and feeding them at night. I managed to do that, but I was in a lot of pain. Finally got in to see a chiropractor, and he worked on me. It took more than one visit, more than two. Um, just had one yesterday. Um, he did good. He found that spot that was giving me all the trouble, because it started at that spot and then it spread. And jury's still out as to whether I need another one. I'm doing much better today. Much better. I couldn't even go to church last week. Um, it was just too painful. Um, so he worked on me twice this week, and I said it's much better. There's still that little bit of twinge, so I'm hoping that I can finish the healing with just some home care. Um, Not doing anything crazy today. Um, for the first time, I'm actually washing dishes. I've got them just about finished. Just taking my time with it, taking breaks, sitting down, taking it easy, but I'm getting something done. So that's why there hasn't been a whole lot going on. Now, I have had the two Amish boys here helping me out one day a week, except for this week I had them out. Come on, come on. I know you have to be up here. Yeah, there she is. Gracie. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had the two Amish boys here helping me one day a week, except for this week I had them here 2 days in a row. Um, their primary focus was to uh, thin out the trees, and they've got this side of the creek pretty much done. Uh, and they'll be doing that, working on the other side of the creek next week. Um, but one thing they did do is, and I was going to show you, but it's raining, so I can't take you out there. But they did clean the buck barn for me, so they cleaned that all out. Um, so that's nice to have that done. I'm hoping that my back recovers well enough that I can get started on the goat barn and then move on to the run in, because they both need to be cleaned out desperately. Um, so we'll see. Yes, I know. Hello. Yes. Okay. She says, I'm talking to myself. You must be crazy. Yes, I know. So, having those boys here to help me out has been a godsend. Um, I was just going to have them focus on cutting the trees down because my chainsaw died, so I can't do it. Um, but I really, really, really needed to get on cleaning the barns. So I figured, well, I'll let them get in there and do the buck barn, because that shouldn't take too long. It's the smallest area. Um, but they got a later start on that, so they had to come back for the second day just so they could finish it. Um, and believe it or not, the outside of the barn was worse than the inside of the barn. But they did the job. They got it done. Um, they also helped me by I had one more section of the electric net fencing over on the other side of the creek that needed to be taken down and brought over here. And they did that for me yesterday. So that's good. So that's rolled up. waiting by the fence for me to put it up. I'm taking my time. If I get it up, that's great. That's wonderful. But I'm not going to overdo it with my back. I cannot afford a setback. Also, what I've done is I got that lot put on the market. So I think I mentioned that before, that I had a piece of property. It was on the same deed, but it was not contiguous to this property. It was off by itself. He must have had it mortgaged together. I don't know. But anyway, so that lot is now on the market. We'll see. I did have someone show up today to look at the property. Unfortunately, they showed up at my house on this property here. And that's, I don't know, hopefully they've got everything straightened out as to where. See, because I own it, they had it listed under my address. So if they went just by the address, it brought them here. So anyway, because there's no structure on it, it didn't have an official address. So anyway, so I don't know. It's a difficult time of year to actually look at the land because it's so overgrown right now. It would have been a great place to put the goats, but it would have cost me a fortune to fence it in, and I couldn't put goats on there without fencing it in. So there you have it. So I figured the best thing to do, it would be to put it on the market. Hopefully it sells. I'm hoping I get enough to pay off my 2 debts and pay the realtor's fee. Okay. And then anything over that is just gravy. If I don't get more than that, I'm not going to cry about it. If I do get more, I'll thank God for it. It'll be, so anyway, yeah. Now we did have, I had 3 broody hens. I had one hatch hers out on Thursday, and I had 2 hatch theirs out yesterday. Okay, the one is a decent mom. I discovered she ended up losing one of her chicks. I had moved her from where she had hatched them out into that small coop that I have. Unfortunately, she lost one. It got crushed somehow. Or stuck or something. I don't know what. But anyway, it was dead when I checked it yesterday morning. The rest of them seem to be doing good. And then the other one that hatched out, oh, she's a really good mom. And I ended up putting her yesterday into, I have a small A-frame coop. And she still had some eggs under her, so I moved the eggs and the chicks. And she settled right on the eggs, and so she's still working. I checked on her this morning, and she was doing fine. I'll check her tonight when I go down to feed. But she's a really good mom. So, and then the third one, she is not a good mom. She had 2 chicks, and she was being very rough. So she had 1 buff and 1 chocolate. So I took the chocolate and I added that one to the one I put in the small coop up here by the house. They can't, that's the one thing about chickens, they can't count. And they were close enough in age, it wouldn't have been a problem. So she took it. And then I just left the buff with this other one because I don't have another small coop to put her in. But I figure she's probably going to end up losing it, and I'm getting rid of all my buffs. So, of course, that one hen, that is a really excellent mom. I mean, top notch. I'm tempted to keep her because those top notch moms, you know, they're worth their weight in gold. But because she happens to be a buff. Two of the moms were buffs, and this other one that wasn't such a good mom, she's a chocolate. So, anyway, yeah, so that's, I got a bunch of chicks, and I got a good mix this time. The two buff moms, they hatched out some buffs, some chocolates, and some lavenders. So I'm keeping the lavenders for sure, unless of course they happen to be all roosters. And probably the chocolates, and I'm going to get rid of the buffs. So we'll see what happens there. I can sell them separately. If anybody wants them, I might advertise them on the local radio station. It's not a big deal if I don't, but you know, they'll go. There's an auction in September that I will take them to if I don't sell them privately. So they're all going. So anyway, there hasn't been a whole lot else going on because of my back. I'm hoping that once my back is better, we can start working on getting the handling system set up, and I can start working on that. There's going to be some other changes. It's just a lot of things are dependent on what happens with this land, as to how much I can do. If I get if I get the full price that the real estate agent put on it, then some of that will be put towards fencing. I'm going to fence up on the hill behind the cabin, and possibly add a gate at the top of my driveway, just because I've been having a problem with the sheep going down to my neighbors. And I know you've seen the videos of the sheep following me back or going in front of me, whatever, and they're good that way. They'll come back when I go get them if I have a bucket of corn. If I don't have a bucket of corn, they say, don't talk to us unless you got something to pay for it. So, anyway, there's been a couple of times when the sheep have actually come back on their own. That was wonderful. But I don't have enough grass in the fenced-in areas for them to be able to graze. So I want to be able to put some permanent fence up, or semi-permanent, in certain areas, so that I can rotate them a little bit better. And we'll see how that goes. I mean, I've got grass up on the hill, you know, and I'm thinning out the trees so that I'll get more grass. I am going to have to throw seed down probably this fall, because I don't know if it'll take this time of year. But this fall I will definitely be throwing seed down, and I'll rope off those areas for a little while when I start feeding hay. Well, I'm feeding hay right now because there's not that much grass out there, and honey needs it. So, but I'm just feeding a small amount. So anyway, that's what's going on. Hopefully before too long things will get moving a little bit better. Like I said, my back it's a lot better than it was. A lot better. So, I would appreciate your prayers that it continues to do so. And that the land sells relatively quickly, just so I can get that done and out of the way, and I can focus on other things. So anyway, this is Mom H with Honey Hollow Homestead, just touching base with y'all, letting you know what's been going on, and I will talk to you later. And hopefully there'll be more videos coming up in the future once I get this little problem resolved. So, talk to y'all later.